Well, this morning, flags across the Bay State and the nation are at half-staff to remember former President Jimmy Carter. The 39th and longest living U.S. president died on Sunday in his Georgia home, surrounded by his family. Now, to honor him, there will be services in Georgia, Washington, D.C., and a state funeral will take place on January 9th in the nation's capital. It will also be a national day of mourning.
I mean, the news was something that we all just stopped and paused and thought about here. NBC 10's Priscilla Casper has a look back at his incredible life and his legacy.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
Jimmy Carter personified the American dream, rising from farm life in the rural South to become the 39th president of the United States. He was born and raised in the small hamlet of Plains, Georgia. After serving in the U.S. Navy, he returned home to Plains and made a success of the family's peanut farm. He also met Rosalind Smith, the woman who became not only his wife, but his closest advisor. Carter's political career began as a Georgia state senator before winning the governorship.
My name is Jimmy Carter, and I'm running for president.
Carter's 1974 campaign for the White House began as the longest of long shots. In the wake of Watergate in Vietnam, his appeal as a straight-shooting Washington outsider grew, and he narrowly defeated Gerald Ford in 1976. The Carter presidency was heightened by the Camp David Agreement, bringing a once unthinkable peace between Egypt and Israel. But economic recession and high interest rates crippled Carter's term in office, and the Iranian hostage crisis devastated it. Republicans capitalized in 1980 as Ronald Reagan's sunny optimism ended Carter's re-election hopes with a resounding victory. But from that defeat, a remarkable second act. Private citizen Carter began a new career, helping build homes for the poor in America. He made Habitat for Humanity an international name, even while focusing on global humanitarian causes. In 2002, Jimmy Carter won the coveted Nobel Peace Prize. He remained active well into his 90s. He taught Sunday school at his South Georgia church. Even after suffering a series of falls, Carter's resilience allowed him to continue building homes for Habitat.
I'd say peace and human rights and treating everybody the same has been what I hope will be my legacy.
By the end of his life, Jimmy Carter had won the deep respect and admiration of not only Americans, but people around the world. Priscilla Casper, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, thank you, Priscilla. Well, Jimmy Carter's legacy as a president and philanthropic pioneer is also a coveted subject for historians.
Absolutely. They're also mourning his death for the trailblazing path he forged that they say will be hard to replicate. NBC 10's Lauren Melendez joins us from the newsroom with what made him so unique. Lauren.
An incredible man, guys. I mean, Jimmy Carter's life was a textbook definition of the American dream, and what one local historian admires because of how he blended his compassion for people, but also his scientific background as an engineer.
He believed in science. He believed in rationality. And he believed that if you give people a chance, they will do the right thing.
Carter was a nuclear engineer. He served aboard a nuclear submarine in the 1950s, and historians say he approached politics with that engineer's focus. So whether it was helping to facilitate the Department of Education, working tirelessly to negotiate a solution for the Iran hostage crisis we talked about just before this, or brokering diplomatic relations with China, that political historian we just heard from, Tom Whalen, says President Carter still maintained integrity and respect while handling some of the most delicate political situations.
He also negotiated the treaty that handed back the Panama Canal to the people of Panama themselves, something that the incoming president, Donald Trump, is now trying desperately to revoke. You know, we can only hope to have a president as good as Jimmy Carter.
Of course, with so many people touched by Carter's life and wanting to honor the late president, there is a virtual condolence card that has now been set up. You can share memories or share kind words. That is currently on the Carter's website right now. In the newsroom this morning, Lauren Melendez, NBC 10 Boston.
Powerful information there, Lauren. Thank you. We encourage you to stay with us here at NBC 10 Boston for coverage as we celebrate the life of former President Carter. As more services are announced, we'll bring you the latest developments on air and online.